Hello everyone, my name is Swanand Bhuskute. I am from Diva to Lonere, currently in 4th year computer department. Today I am going to make submission for WD401 Final Capstone. In this video, I will take you through all the levels that are taught in WD401 and explain the concepts explained in them, and tell you how I integrated those concepts in my project, that is WD301 Final Capstone Sports Live app. So what is 401? 401 is getting ready for production. So basically it is an industry oriented course in which we are taught industry related concepts and asked to integrate those concepts in our project. 401 is divided into 10 levels, and in each level every industry related concept that is being taught, we are asked to integrate that concept in our project. And by integrating that concept into our project, the production readiness of our project increases. Our app is more enhanced, our app is more optimized and ready for global exposure. So let's start with all the levels one by one. So the first level is workflow using pull requests. So we all know that individuals as well as organizations store the code in version control systems, example GitHub, and it becomes easy for developers to collaborate writing code and perform code review sessions easily using such version control systems like GitHub. We can raise issues in the issues section of the repository. And also we don't want everybody's code flowing directly into the main branch. We don't want unchecked code to get merged into the main branch of the repository. So developers across the world write feature wise code into featured branches and then raise those branches as pull request for that feature, and let other developers review that code, check for errors, remove unwanted console logs, and also they give more suggestions for the pull request they raise. Then the developer write more code for the according to those suggestions, and again they perform the code review session, and this process go back and forth. So this is also called as iterative development process, and this process will keep repeating iteratively until the desired output is achieved. And once the desired output is formed, desired code is formed, the branch code is merged in the main branch once all the conflicts are resolved, and in the future we can also delete that branch. So I have also used this concept of pull request. So this is my project sports live. In that we can see that if any developer, I raise one issue, name change the background color. So if we go to the project, we can see this is my main project. So if I open the terminal and show you how many branches I have. So basically according to that PR, I had to change the background color of the app. So instead of writing the code in the main branch, I created a branch named BG color and wrote all the code on that branch. And after the necessary code was written, I created a pull request using ghpr create, and a pull request from my GitHub account was raised in the repository. So in the repository, we can see one pull request is open, and it is green mark because it has passed all the CI/CD pipeline test. So if I go in the pull request, you can see the number of file change, then the checks, then the commits. So we can see there are currently no conflicts in the base branch, so it is ready for the pull request. But if we go in the file change, we can see all the code that is changed in the file. These files were changed because of the npm run build command, but the rest of the code that is necessary for the background change was these two lines. So this was a very simple pull request. On the organization level, there are more complex pull requests. So after reviewing the code changes, if the other developer doesn't find any conflicts, then we can successfully merge that branch in our main branch. So we can see that this pull request is successfully merged, and after merging it is closed. And so as I said, we can also delete this branch, but for now we will keep this branch, and we can see a new commit now, and the CI/CD pipeline has been triggered automatically. So this was all about the L1. And other concepts taught in the L1 where first was pull request, then other was importance of code review sessions. Then we were also taught about iterative development, like how first one developer pushes his code and raise the pull request, and after that other developers give suggestion on that, perform other automatic test checks, then review their code. They look for other unwanted console logs, because console logs can increase the loading time of our application. Also we were talking about handling the merge conflicts, like if two developers has raised the pull request, and if there are certain files that are changing the same line of code, then the merge conflicts can occur. Then how a developer can intelligently handle that merge conflict is taught in this level. Then also we using GitHub Actions CI/CD pipeline, we can also automate the pull request. Like we see here, after the pull request is merged, the CI/CD pipeline has triggered. So this was all about the level 1. So now let's go to the level 2 of 401. So level 2 was about JS bundling and integration. So in this level, uh, in my React Vite project, I have implemented lazy loading and suspense loading to enhance performance and user experience. You can see in the route, I have implemented lazy loading, and for in the main app.tsx, you can see you can see the integration of suspense loading. So if any component is, when the components are rendering, they will first the suspense component will be loaded, and then after all the components are ready to render, this component will fall down, and our the remaining components will be displayed on the screen. So also, as I have mentioned, the app is in Vite. I also use TypeScript. So using TypeScript, I have optimized the application by loading components only when needed, and also reducing initial load times and improving overall efficiency. Uh, this approach ensures that the application remains responsive and scalable, leveraging the latest JavaScript features and strong typing provided by TypeScript for maintainable and robust code. So TypeScript gives a more robust code, because we can using TypeScript we can write more efficient code. We will talk about TypeScript more in the level 3. So after that we had to configure some bundling tools and advanced bundling techniques. So but for that I don't need a separate webpack config.js file, because I already have a vite config.ts file. It is inbuilt when we use a vite projects. So it is all the handling for the bundling is done using this file. We can see first it uses a React plugin for the React support. Then for PWS support, we use a vite plugin PWA, that is a progressive web application. And also we can see all the icons, all the various types of icons are getting bundled using this vite config.ts file. So this was all about L2. There was nothing much I integrated of L2, because I already had vite.config.ts file handling all the configurations, and also as I was using TypeScript, it was a strong language. We will talk more about it in the L3. So now let's move to L3. So in L3, we were taught about some strongly typed languages like TypeScript, CoffeeScript over JavaScript, and why we should choose that languages over JavaScript. So I had already chosen JavaScript at the starting of the project, so I didn't need any further thought to choose any other appropriate language. I did require I did some required Babel configuration while integrating JS test. So in package.json, while implementing JS testing, I had to do some Babel configuration, but other than that, I didn't needed to do any more configuration of the Babel, and only perform TypeScript configuration. Other than that, just like L2, most of the modern day projects have right configurations inbuilt and all the with all the latest features. But when working with large scale projects like company projects or organization level projects or startups, we need some we need to do some manual configuration for enhancing the experience, or we need to do some specific use case configuration. So other than that, in my Vite and TypeScript project, I already have TypeScript configured. So converting a JavaScript project to TypeScript involves adding type notations and renaming all files to .tsx from .jsx. And also TypeScript's type system enhances the development experience with better auto-completion and error checking. Like if we use VS Code along with TypeScript, we do get some autocomplete suggestions, and as well as error suggestion using the intelligence of TypeScript. So this was about L3. Like if I show you the configuration, first is vite config.ts, we already discussed it. Then for TypeScript configuration, we have files like tsconfig.node.json and tsconfig.json, in which we can see all the latest features like ES 2020, ES Next are used. All the bundler configurations are also inbuilt, and all the linting configurations are also inbuilt. What is linting? So basically linting means before our code is pushed, it is checked for the formatting, if the proper formatting is there or not. Is 4 spaces or 2 spaces are used all across the process, that is also checked in the linting. So all this configuration is done in the tsconfig.json when we use TypeScript as our language for the project. And in dependencies, I did some Babel configuration for testing in L4, and other than that, TypeScript configurations using these dependencies. So that's all for L3. Let's move to L4. In L4, we were taught about the importance of testing and how to integrate testing into our project. So first, we have to integrate unit testing and Cypress testing in our project. So why we have to use testing? Because testing helps to catch bugs early and avoid any future costs. Also, when a new developer comes, he or she will have to understand the working and the flow of the feature he will be assigned. For that, if the testing is already integrated, he can easily know the use case of the feature properly with potential possibilities of the bugs and know if the bugs are fixed or he has to fix those bugs. So we can easily catch the errors using testing and solve them. So for unit testing, I have used jest dependency, and we have to also integrate Cypress testing. So Cypress testing helps in end-to-end testing by simulating real-time checking as expected in the browser. It opens a mock browser in the background and runs all the tests by opening the app inside it. So now I will app take you through my app and show how I integrated jest testing and Cypress testing. So for integrating jest testing, first we have to install jest, then jest environment, jest DOM, and these libraries as dependencies. And also we need to create this jest.config.cjs or js file in which there is a jest configuration that will run on our project while we do the npm test. So I have implemented 3 tests. If we see one in article section, for implementing test we have to user underscore tests underscore folder. So whenever we do npm test, it will automatically see this tests folder and run all the tests inside that folder. So one test is for checking the rendering of the articles component. Next test is for this checking the rendering of team and sports component, and one more test for matches component. So if I run npm test, if I run the npm test, the unit testing will start. So we can see that it says there total 3 tests, and it has detected them because of this underscore test folder. And we can see all the 3 test cases are passing. Now we do see some warning. So this warning has occurred because it says if we are using any suspense loading component in our project, then we should wrap our test in this act folder, because it will help to test more efficiently. But as this is a personal project, I have left it here only. So this is how unit testing is integrated in the project. Now for Cypress testing, we need to start the Cypress server. For that, we need to run the command npm cypress start. Actually, not start, npm cypress open. So you can see that the Cypress server has been started. In this, end-to-end testing is already configured for the Sports Live project. If I choose the Chrome, start end-to-end testing. So we can see here, this is how testing works. We can see a background open in the Chrome background opening here. First, actually we have to start the application in the background. npm run dev. So if we see the application, it is started in the 5173. So now we can perform the Cypress testing. We can see the testing is happening. So one by one the tests are getting passed. So all the tests in this article component has been passed. So let's go to the match list component. In this 2 tests are successfully passed. In the sign up component, we can see how the mock sign up works. So this is also passing in this team sport component. Here also all the 3 test cases are passed. So I will show you where the tests are written. The tests are written in this Cypress folder. Inside this end-to-end testing, you can see the 4 files. So these are the 4 tests, and inside each file we are performing some other subtests. So in this file there are only 2 test cases. In this also there are 3. So this is how the Cypress test end-to-end testing is integrated in the project. So let's go. This was all about the L4. Uh, so now let's start with L5. So L5 is CI/CD, that is continuous integration and continuous delivery. So CI/CD is essential for modern day software development as workload has increased. It enables teams to integrate and deliver code changes more frequently and more reliably. CI means continuous integration. So it means when the code changes are automatically tested. So this improves the code quality. And if the tests are failed, we will iterate back to them to fix it. And if they are passed, we are more assured about the code we have written. And CD, that is continuous delivery or continuous deployment. It means it automates the release process, which leads for faster deployments, faster feedback, quick bug fixes, and the ability to respond to the market trends more efficiently. And by streamlining the CI/CD pipeline in our project, it enhances the productivity and the collaboration and overall reliability of the software among the team and for the customers. Other than that, we were taught about infrastructure as a code, that is IAC. IAC is crucial for automating and standardizing infrastructure management because it ensures consistency by reducing manual errors. It is used for scalability, and by using IAC, implementing the concepts of IAC in our project, we can perform more efficient and reliable deployment. So this was about IAC. Uh, Other than that, I have implemented the CI/CD through GitHub Actions. So I will explain that. So in the GitHub slash workflows folder, uh, I have I have this helloactions.yml file, which is basically the CI/CD file of my project. So basically, we can see this pipeline pushes on two triggers. That is, one is pipeline is triggered on two events. That is, one is push and other is pull, like the pull request. So basically this pipeline performs three jobs. First is build and test, then it builds the Docker image, and then it notifies to a Discord or Slack server. So this is how the CI/CD pipeline works. It performs certain jobs, and if we want a notification to some Discord server or Slack server, we can also uh, integrate that service also in our project. So this was about CI/CD pipeline. I will explain this more in the L7. So let's move to L6. So let's start with L6. So in L6, we were taught about application environments. So what are application environments? We use different environments like development environment, staging environment, or testing environment, and production environment to ensure our applications run smoothly and securely. Each environment helps us to catch and fix issues before they reach the users, ensuring a reliable and efficient experience. In development environment is a local environment where different developers collaborate to work on the same project. Then there is a staging environment. Here, all the testing happens before the app is deployed, like JS testing, end-to-end testing, Cypress testing, etc. And then finally, in the production environment, our app is actually deployed in the production servers where it is used by end users. Then talking about configuration management, it is a crucial it is crucial for consistently setting up smooth deployments, and for that we use Docker because Docker helps in containerizing applications, ensuring that our application runs same on every different environment. We will talk about Docker shortly. Then there is managing app environments using Docker, that is we will speak about Docker. Then as our applications grow, scaling and load balancing handle the increased traffic or decreased traffic of our application, maintaining the performance of the application equal for high traffic as well as low traffic. And high availability and disaster recovery minimize downtime and data loss, keeping our services accessible even during unexpected events like app crash or a website is down, etc. Finally, robust security services measure in each environment, protect data and maintain user trust. So it it basically means that we have to implement some robust security measures to protect the user data, to keep it private from third party attacks, maintaining the user trust on our application. So let's talk about the two important files from the point of view of L6, that is this docker compose.yml and this Docker file. Then let's talk about these two files. Talk about this docker compose.yml file. This file is important from the L6 point of view. So let's break down it. It uses version 3.8. It uses a version 3.8, which is a more recent version for Docker Compose file format. Then here various services are defined. If our app is using multiple services, we can define it here. But currently, I am only using the app service. If we are using some database, then we can define it using DB, then other more services, etc. So then it builds a Docker image using Docker file in the current directory, and it maps to port 5173, and then it hosts in on the port 5173 using container, and finally all the environment variables are loaded in the 5173 port using the current directory. So basically this docker compose.yml and these docker files containerizes this whole application, so that our app runs same on different environment. So this was all about L6. So let's go to L7. So let's start with L7. So L7 is about containerization. So basically in L7 we were taught about how containerization and how Docker images helps our app run same on different environments. Basically how all the dependencies, libraries are included in that Docker image, and then that same image can run on different environments, and our app will run and behave same on different environments, on different devices, on different operating system. So and how all these different concepts helps to increase the efficiency and reliability of the deployment process. So now I will show you the combined output of L5, L6 and L7. So L5 is first integrating a CI/CD pipeline through GitHub Actions, then how it behaves on different environments like development, staging, and production environment. First, app will test for, then build a Docker image, and then notify on the Discord, and then finally the containerization. That is how a Docker image will be saved on a Docker Hub, my Docker Hub account. So let's go to the project, and we have first we have to deploy a pipeline, build a pipeline in the GitHub Actions. Then that pipeline should for, should do the jest testing and Cypress testing, and then build a Docker image, and then notify on the server. So this is my sports live CI/CD pipeline. It triggers on push or pull requests, and it does do the three jobs. First is build and test job. Then it builds a Docker image after successfully running Cypress and Jest test. It builds a Docker image using this Docker compose.yml and Docker files, and then saves that Docker image to my Docker Hub account using these credentials. This username and password are stored in the secrets and variables of the sports live GitHub repo. And finally, if the notification about success, failure or success of the pipeline will be notified me on my Discord account. So now let's do some changes and make this pipeline run. So first, let's clear this. Let's do some changes like pipeline, and then you can see one change is there. You can just git add all, then git commit dash m change, and then we can finally git push. So we can see that a new commit has went to the GitHub account. If we go to the code, we can see a pipeline for this commit is running for this change commit. If we go to the actions, we can see the pipeline. We can see there are three jobs. First, the first job is running, that is build and test, and after that the remaining two jobs will run. So first it is installing all the dependencies for the project. Okay, so dependencies are installed, and now it is running the Jest test. For now, if even if the pipeline fails, we can see a notification. So that's the only aim that I have to show you in this demonstration. So the Jest tests are successfully run. We can see the three Jest tests. We can see the three tests have passed. Now the Cypress tests are running one by one. Okay, so it has detected four tests, and one by one they are running. Okay, so all the Cypress tests are also passed, and we can see the first job is done. Now the second job is running, that is the build Docker image. It must not take time. can see the Docker image is built, and now it is getting pushed to the Docker hub account that is here. This is the Docker account. Okay, so the image has been pushed successfully, and now the third job that is notified to the Discord is running. So we can see the pipeline has been successfully built. The message has been, we can see the message on the Discord. We can see the message that is 1643 here, also 1643. Earlier message also that is succeeded. And sometimes the pipeline failed. All these messages. So this was all about the L7. So now let's start with the L8. That is internationalization and localization. Internationalization and localization, we have to integrate the concepts of I18N and L10N in our app because they help in globalization of our app and increase traffic to our website. So basically what happens, international and localization says that we can translate our website to different languages, to specific locales like English, Spanish, German, French. By that, we can target a specific local audience of that region. Also, we can display different date, time, and currency in the different specific format like Indian. We can, if we are in India, we can display Indian currency in rupees. Then if we are in America, then we can display dollars. Similarly, in Europe region, we can display euros in our website. So this is the I18 and L10N concept. So I have integrated that concepts in my project. So let's go to the project. And to use those concepts, first we need to install few libraries like I18Next and I18L browser language detector. Then I have chosen two locales, that is my English and Spanish. I have translated over 39 concepts into Spanish. For translations, we can use the tool called Traduaro. If we go to the tool, we can use this tool to create the translations of these concepts. Like you can see all these translations I have translated over 39 concepts using two locales, and we can export these translations using JSON, any format we want. Like if we translate it using JSON, and then we can download them. We can select these files, and going back to the project, we have to integrate these locales in our project. First, we need to create a new local folder. In that we will keep these JSON files, and then inside the app, if we go to like basic translation, if we go to let's say navbar, inside pages, if we go to navbar.xh, first we have to import this app, then use this reuse translation instance, and then we can translate this uh, translations using this syntax like T, then preferences. Then for English it will be in something, and then in Spanish it will be in something. Then again for this sign in, then sign up. Using this in all files, I have implemented those changes. We will directly see that in the project. So for the local changing, I have implemented two buttons. First, the whole app is currently in English. Then if I switch to Spanish, you can see all the terms getting translated to Spanish. Like first that was read more, then it has become layer mask. Then talking about languages, we can see the local specific date is getting displayed, like the 1 day August 2023. But if earlier in English, it was getting displayed in English only. Like we can see August 1, 2023, and the time. If we go to other routes, we can see currently this is in English. If we switch to Spanish, all the terms getting translated to Spanish. If we go to matches, that is Partidos, we can see this is Spanish. Earlier it was in English. Match list, it gets translated to Spanish. Other than that, I have integrated a cool feature in my app, that is we can translate our whole application into any language. Like if we say Marathi, then we can see our whole app getting translated to Marathi because I have chosen here Marathi. Even the dynamic content that is fetched from API is getting translated. This is a very cool API, but I don't think this will be used in production level environments. For now, we will stick to our only two locals, English and Spanish. So this was about L8. That is, we have to implement this language changing feature in our application. So this was all about internationalization and localization. And now let's move to L9. That is error logging and debugging. So error logging and debugging concepts, basically we run into errors all the time, but if we use some third party services like Sentry or Rollbar, we can easily debug those errors by knowing the exact line and the events that the errors were triggered. And if we are working collaboratively, we don't want to dive into the files and folders of other developers features. So if we use tools like Sentry, we can easily track those errors. So let's go to the project directly. uh, so for error logging and debugging, I have used a third-party service called Sentry. So using this third-party tools, we can easily identify the errors on which event those errors occurred and easily debug them. Also, if we are working collaboratively, we don't want to run into others' errors. So these third-party tools really help to track those errors and debug them easily by knowing on which event the error occurred. So to integrate this Sentry service in our project, first we have to write this boiler code in our project like this sentry.init code, and this ID connects our project to this Sentry account So now we will inject few error deliberately and see how this works. So I have added these two buttons that says method does not exist, which calls for the function method does not exist. So if we click them, they will show errors. So we can see these two buttons here. If we just click them, we can see currently inside the console. If we refresh, currently there are no errors. If I click, we can see a error that is method does not exist. And if we go inside the Sentry, we can see currently there are no errors, the current latest errors. And if we refresh, we can see this error has occurred 13 seconds ago. If we go inside this error, we can see using this replay where and when this error occurred. If we play this replay, it will show the exact event on which the error occurred. So it says the error occurred when I click this button. So this is also I had injected a error in while changing the locales. Like if you go to navbar, then this is a now switch locale function that changes the locale and saves the current language to the local storage. But if I deliberately insert a error like this throw new error, I have commented all the errors while before pushing it to the GitHub, because I don't want the app to throw errors when it is hosted on Netlify. But for now, if we just add this error and go back to the project, if we check the console, currently there are no errors. But if I change the locale, then it will throw an error. Again, if I change the locale, it will again throw an error. So this error is deliberately injected while changing the locale, just to confirm our error logging system is working. Currently their errors are old, but if I refresh the page, we can see an error occurred while changing the locales. It is 19 seconds ago, that is recent error. If I go inside the error, we can exactly know on which event the error generated. So if we play it, so it says the error occurred on this event. Again, the error occurred on this event. So this is how error logging and debugging works. This was about integrating a third-party error logging and debugging tools like Sentry into our project. So now let's go to the L10, that is the final level of this course, that is generative AI and web development. So why should we use AI in our website? Because AI enhances website functionality by personalizing user experiences, improving search relevance, and automating customer service through chatbots. Like we can integrate chatbots in our website so that they can help customers when customer have some doubts. So if AI can also increase the user experience, but first we have to know the use case of the AI with context to our app, because it may not fit our app always. Like the integration of AI cannot always fit with the context of our app. But I have integrated AI in my application. I have built a simple chatbot in my application, and also used AI to generate a summary of the articles. So I will show you how I integrated it. So let's go to the project and I will show you how I integrated AI in my project. So basically, I have implemented a basic chatbot that will help that will help users resolve their any doubt, like any sports related doubt. If they want to know any sports related concept, because the theme of my website is sports. So if they want to know any sports related concepts, if they want to know any live matches going on in the world, if they want to know the records in the sports, then they can simply use this chatbot. And the next use case of AI that I have integrated is the generate summary of the article. So basically, when the article, so this generate summary, so basically the API will call, the handle generate summary function will be called when when I click this generate summary button, uh, this button generate summary, it will call this generate summary function. Then the post request to this Gemini API endpoint. I have used Gemini API because the ChatGPT API credits were exhausted, so I use Gemini because it was free and also reliable. So it will will send a post request using this specific JSON specific format that it contains part and text, and inside these parts I have sent my prompt, that is give summary for this, and then I will pass this content of the article to generate the summary, and it will generate the summary and display it. So let's go to the project and see the working of this chatbot as well as generate summary. So if I go to the home, we can see this chatbot button. It is visible on the all routes, if, on articles also, then on matches also, then on teams also, then on my profile also. So if I open the chat and type any sports related doubt, like what is best record in cricket, and if I click on send, it is sending the request. And if we can see the response is generated, it has given examples of few cricket records. Then if we say what is most popular most popular sport in the world, then it will generate few. So it has generated a few response. So it says the soccer is the most popular considering the number of fans. Then by revenue, it also says that cricket is popular in India, Pakistan, England. So basically, this is a basic chatbot that will resolve any sports related query. And to display this editing engine, like feature, like this basketball is bold, but other content is uh, normal. I have used two libraries in the React. Name this React Markdown and Remark GFM. I have used these libraries to so that the bold content that is coming from in the response will be shown as bold. So this is how I use them in the project. So this was about how chatbot is working, and all the chat will be stored when I close this. So see, you can see all this is working. So let's go to the final implementation of the AI that it generates summary. So if I go to any article, let's say cricket article, and click here, we can read this article. Or let's say we have to just know the summary of the article, then we will click on the generate summary button. Then it is saying generate summary, and yes, the AI has successfully generated the summary of this whole article, like a promising young cricketer. This is a big article, but this is just small summary, that is young cricketer sensation, and this is the whole summary. If we go to other articles also, then it is working properly. Again, generate summary. So I have also generated summary for this article. So this is how we can integrate a use case of AI into our project, but by understanding proper context. By understanding the context of our project, we can integrate AI into our project. So this was all about the L10, that is uh, implementation of AI into our project. Thank you. So talking about the difficulties I faced while integrating these concepts in my project, actually the whole 401 course was a pretty medium to hard level. So first level, that is working with pull request, it was a pretty easy because I have experience with working with pull request. Then again the L2 and L3 were also fairly easy, but the few learning about the different configurations of different languages other than JavaScript, and choosing other languages over JavaScript was also a nice knowledgeable task. Then actually the L4 was a bit difficult for me because initially the jest was not recognizing the configuration properly, because it was showing the errors of ECMAScript errors. It was saying use the latest ECMAScript, but I was actually using ES 2020 and ES Next configure properly in my project, but then also it was not detecting properly. But somehow I managed to uh, find the right libraries of the jest, and using the jest.config.cjs file, I properly configured and successfully ran the npm test. Then speaking of the next CI/CD, continuous integration, then application environment and containerization. The building of whole pipeline was also a pretty hard task. Like first we have to build a pipeline, then choose which jobs to run. Like you can see initially my pipelines were failing a lot. If you go, you can see they failed 4 times initially. Then actually one time it passed. Again they failed twice because anytime that Cypress test and just tests were passing, but the Cypress tests were failing. So I have to iterate over the Cypress test again and again. And then the second job, that was build Docker and build Docker image and push it to the Docker hub, was uh, running properly. Then again, in this level 8, that is internationalization and localization, this was also pretty easy level because the libraries were defined. I had to choose which locale that I should translate, and we just build a button to change the locale. So that was also pretty easy task. Then error logging and debugging was also pretty easy because we just had to choose sentry and then write the initial sentry code in the project in the our main.tsx, and then inject some errors for just checking purposes. So, and finally L10 was actually a difficult task because first choosing AI to integrate in our project was a quite a decision. Then choosing which task I should choose to make AI work for me was also a task. So basically, I didn't find any groundbreaking feature that should AI should serve me. So I just implemented a basic chatbot and article summarizer for the project. So this was actually choosing the right API, finding the right API because my ChatGPT credits were exhausted. So I had to find Gemini API, then learn about how to integrate Gemini endpoints and API key into my project properly. Then how to properly give the prompt, because sending the proper prompt in the format that AI will accept was also a task because in while checking in the Postman, the response request was going, but the response was also coming, but the way I was displaying in my project was a different other, because if the response was an object, then inside that it was a array, then again object and array, and finally the user input was sending to going to the post request, and also the incoming format was also the same. So this was also quite a debugging task. So yes, L10 was also quite difficult. So this was all about the difficult. So this was all about the talking about the difficulty of 401. It was a pretty medium to intermediate, and it was quite a fun through all the levels. But I'm glad all my levels got accepted. So I have explained all the concepts taught in WD401. That is all these 10 levels, all the concepts, that is from pull request, then testing, then bundling, containerization, that is generating Docker image, then using concepts of IIT into our application, then error logging, using third-party services like Sentry for error logging and debugging in our project, then trying to integrate AI into our app. So I integrated AI to generate summary of the article, and also implemented a basic chatbot that will resolve any doubts of the customers or the users. So basically, this was all about the WD401 course. Finally, I would like to thank Pupilfirst team for providing this amazing advanced web development course come minor degree. It was a wonderful year-long journey from last August to this August. From 101, 201, 301, 401. I would like to thank all the course creators, PAs, WD Forum, and the whole Pupilfirst team for providing this wonderful opportunity. And I'm very grateful. And I would like to say that my interest in web development has significantly increased by this WD course. Thank you, and thank you, team.